Okay, so what's the next thing I want to do? Well, I want to do something. And right now, what I will do, I will select just this sphere. And let's see, let me put the reference flag. So this is another really important thing to really understand, right? To be able to model efficiently here. So what I can do now that I have set my render flag on this SOP, I can go to selection mode, polygon, and let's select these polygons. But let me take this tool. Okay, let's select these and then Shift G, and voila. Now I will extract this. So use modify and use extract. Okay, nice. But before I do that, let me actually show you how this extract actually works, right? So what is important is that this tool options is set to create at object level. If we want to use extract, if we have this creating context, then selecting and extracting will not work. Okay, so let's make sure that we have this create at object level. Let's select this one, grow selection, and now let's modify, now extract. Now let's freeze this so that any change here, right? Any change here doesn't actually affect things over here, right? So we need to freeze, that's important. Or if you don't freeze it, then things stay procedural if you know what you're doing. But in my case, I would say that's fine. Okay, cool. By the way, if you change this number or any value in these fields, you can actually press reverse to previous value with shift right mouse button. So if you press shift right mouse button, now you're back to the previous value. Another nice thing to know. Okay. So now if I'm back to my last node or SOP, now we don't see anything because right now we are in this hide other object modes. And if I press spacebar Y, now I get the ghosted other objects, which are then seen in this geo container, right? What is cool and something I didn't talk about last time is that actually we can switch to the other geometry containers by just double clicking on them. And to enable this, let's go here, left mouse button, click and hold, and then enable this double click to jump to other objects. Okay. Now, if I hover over this ghosted mesh and double click, all of a sudden, I'm in this geometry container. And if I press spacebar Y, now I can pretty much focus on this other object, which are the spikes. And yeah, let's simply start by selecting everything with double click and let's extrude. Like that. Now I also want to see the other object so I can see what I'm doing, or just to be better oriented with this piece of mesh. Okay, great. So now Q again for extrude, and this time I'm gonna use the transform extruded front option with F. So we are activating this with F for toggle, right? This is the setting. Okay, something like this. We could add maybe, say a division. So we can add it through here or here. Something like this, so that I can select this thing in the middle. And then just for a little bit, make a soft selection. Do something like this. So, okay, cool. So yet again, let's select these. Like that. Shift G for growing the selection. And now in this case, I'm gonna do another poly extrude, but this time This time I will inset with Shift and scroll. Something like this. No, something like this. And yet another extrude. Okay. And now let's actually just duplicate this. Bring it here. Select this. Delete, go back to copy and just reset translate with middle mouse button and control. And now from here, let's go back to the blast node or to last node. Again, extrude. And now if I'm back to copy, now we have two separated pieces. And I can control, well, this piece through the copy or even extrude. Okay. So let's go back to copy and just reset the poly extrude. And say this is okay. And then again, poly extrude, but then F. To activate transform extruded front. Once again, let's add few divisions. Edge. Let's select edges and then I'll just scale again with a soft transition. Now we have few soft type options, and usually quadratic is also very nice. It gives you a better curvature in some cases. So that's on edit node. And from here I can just again select these polygons, grow selection with Shift G, and maybe just make it a bit bigger like this, and then duplicate and poly extrude, but with enabled transform extrude front with F. To change between these transformation gizmos, just press E, R, or T. Okay. Let's add a few divisions here because it seems that this thing also have a bit of curvature. Now we also need to decide, are we going to close the hole, back hole here on the poly extrude? So let's just do that. Okay, and let's just back this in its place. Actually, let's keep it here a bit more. I want to make just a small bevel here and also show you how this can work very nicely when you go between these nodes. Again, I can bring it back and boom, voila. And use horizontal scroll to just jump to poly bevel. So from here, let's enter selection tool with S. And again, let's make that quadratic. Maybe not from here. Let's see from here. Well, let's see if which will work better, quadratic or cubic. See, in this case, I would say cubic is a bit better. Yeah, that's nice. And as a last step, let's just select everything with N and just mirror it. And that's it. Now if I go out to OBJ context, this is what we have right now. Awesome. See you guys in the next video when we're gonna tackle these little spheres.